about my sleep problems or whatever. And, doctors kind of lame sometimes. They don't ever always ask you all the questions they should, right? I'm going to get into that in a minute. But anyway, so I went for many, many years, my whole life, until about 5 years ago, when I was researching it on the internet, and I found this site for people who have this. And it's very debilitating for some people, and it can be for me. Like I said, since I'm self-employed and I have been for 13 years, it's easier for someone like myself. But for someone who is employed in a regular 9-to-5 job or whatever, it's impossible for that person if they have the same kind of delayed sleep phase syndrome that I have, meaning that their body needs to be asleep at, like when mine does, completely off schedule with most people. Then they really have a hard time functioning or going to work or keeping a job or anything else. And people think that they're lazy. And the thing is, they're not lazy. The thing is that they don't want to work or they can't work or whatever. The thing is that they just can't do it at the times that people need them to, because they literally cannot stay awake. And that's the other thing. The other point about this is it's not just about how you sleep, how much you sleep for us. It's about when you sleep. And so you remember I was telling you, like, even if you're sleeping in a dark, dark cave, which my bedroom is, by the way, I keep it, there's no light coming in at all. There's no sound, nothing, and, so I can sleep. But even if you're sleeping with complete darkness, complete silence, then you can your body still knows when the sun rises and when it sets. Now, it's not as distinctive as if you had the windows open or whatever, and the sun rises and blinds you and you're waking up or whatever, because it actually, what the sun does, the natural UV rays and the sun tells your body it's time to wake up, and and stop releasing melatonin or whatever, and so. When the sun rays are coming in and you're sleeping, through your eyelids or whatever, you still see the sun coming up. And so you subconsciously know when you begin to wake up. Well, even if you don't have sunlight coming into your room and the sun's coming up outside, for someone who's normal, if I want to put it that way, and it doesn't have delayed sleep phase syndrome, they actually still know that the sun is coming up. And it's also a function of how long they've slept as well. So what you have to realize about this is that it's not just about how long you sleep, it's about when you sleep. So for example, I can sleep, there was probably a month, a year or so ago, where I tried to get on a normal cycle, which I've tried all my life. I don't know why I was trying it, but I read that you can try one method of trying to get on a normal cycle and trying to reset your brain or whatever they say. And it's experimental and didn't work, obviously, but was to stay up for an additional 2 hours longer than you normally would every night until you go around the clock 24 hours throughout the month or whatever. And until you're at a normal sleep cycle, and then it'll reset your body clock, your brain, to get up at an 8 to 5 or 8 a.m. type of a rise. And so I tried that. I did that, and days and days and days, and I was up and up and up, and I was exhausted, of course. It didn't matter. Even didn't matter how long I slept. Even if I, at the end of this 30 days, even though I could wake up at 8 a.m. and go to sleep at 10 p.m., I was still exhausted, and my body still said, "What are you doing? What are you trying to go to sleep for?" My body was still trying to stay awake, and it was trying to go to sleep, in the morning instead of waking up. So it just doesn't not matter. And I've tried everything, and most people who have delayed sleep phase syndrome have as well. So you have to realize that this can be a debilitating syndrome. And I certainly know that, and people who have this do as well. And the thing is, the only reason that we're considered abnormal is because the world decided that 8 to 5 is the best time to, be awake, or 8 a.m. is the best time to wake up for most of the world. And so people do things during the day and they sleep at night, right? But it doesn't make us abnormal. It just makes us different, and people need to realize that that's the case. So, all right. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I'm trying to say, I'm trying to see if I can do a complete 100% show other than my introduction, without music. And most of you who listen to my show know music is a huge, huge part of my show. It is a huge part of my show. I love music. It sets the mood. It gives a message. It's something that really does matter to me. Oh, by the way, if you are listening to the show, you can chat by going to the bottom of your screen. If you click on the Brain Purge page or the Off Limits Show page and go to Brain Purge, at the very bottom of the page in the gray bar next to the heart is a little chat button. If you click that, it's got a number next to it. You can actually chat with me in there if you're listening to the show right now and you want to chat. And I can chat back with you over the air. So just want to let you know that. But anyway, so music is a huge part of my show. And a friend of mine, Desert Rose, and I were talking about it, and she's trying really hard to get herself on iHeartRadio. Now, I'm not that concerned about it. I don't really care to be on there that much because they have rules about playing music. You can only play 30 seconds of music or something like that, or 1 minute of music at a time. And you can't play more than that at all, ever. And so that really kind of is difficult for my show. Now, that doesn't do anything to my podcast listeners or otherwise that I get. But if I wanted to be on iHeartRadio, it would make a difference. So I've decided not to do that, or be on iHeartRadio, at least not with Brain Purge Show or the Off Limits Show or my gay mass shows, or acoustic mass either, obviously, because those shows all have music and things on them. Hey, Josh Peterson. So I certainly don't, want to do a show without music because it is such a huge part of my show and who I am. And I just couldn't possibly. So I don't care what kind of exposure iHeartRadio may give you. And I've always done this show, for fun. Like I said, I've never done it as a career. I've never done it as something that I'm trying to make money on. I've never even tried to monetize it, although I could. It'd be easy to do with advertisements, selling advertising, whatever, which I've done for my magazines that I've owned before. But I've never really wanted to do that. I just do it because I enjoy it. So be on iHeartRadio or people who are trying to do this because they want to do it for a living, which would be fun, but it's not something that is my goal. I'm doing it because I enjoy what I do, and I have a message to put out there. So that's what my thing's about. All right, so we're going to take a break and play some music and come right back and talk some more. I've got some more things to tell you. I'll be right back. All right, so that was Matisse with Boom Boom Ba. I love that song. It's just like so, I don't know, it's soothing to me. I love it. I love her voice too. So you were listening to Brain Purge tonight. I was just talking about, for the past 20 minutes or so, about my, about delayed sleep phase syndrome and what that is, so people can be educated about it, know what it is, and know that people do actually have it. And most people who do have it aren't even aware that it is a condition and that it's something to actually check out. Oh, it's cool, David. Just thanks for saying hi. You can go. You don't have to stay. Just thanks for saying hi. I just wanted to tell you, I didn't know you were going to sleep, so talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So anyway, we are doing Brain Purge tonight, and I have been for a while now. I just want to tell you guys something about what I've been going through health-wise. I have had a like a lump on the back of my neck under the skin. It's like a tumor type thing on the back of my neck. If you go down the center of your head all the way down to where your spine is, so up from your spine to the left, like on either side of your neck, is where I have this lump, and it's a big lump and it's a hard lump. So in March, I actually had the doctor, just a general doctor, look at it, and he had me walk around the room and everything else, whatever, neurological stuff like that, and said it was just a lipoma. Lipoma is just a fatty thing, like a fatty lump or whatever, but that's not what it is. And the reason I know that's not what it is because up until that point, and I told him all of this. I said, look, I've had weakness on my left side of my body. I've had numbness. I've had on my arm, I had my leg, and just on my left side of my body. I've had pins and needles on the left side of my body, everything on the left side of my body, headaches on the left side of my body. Just everything that's going on with me has been on the left side of my body. It's been really weird the past year, almost a year and a half now. And so up until that point, it had been 3 months. Anyway, so I tell him all of this stuff, and he's like, oh, it's nothing, And I'm like, well, how do you know it's nothing? He's like, well, I can just tell it's not anything. I'm like, well, so I decided after I left him, he said not to worry about it. It was nothing to worry about. And he said he checked out my neurological, like how I was walking and stuff like that, and I was fine. So I wanted to go to see a neurologist. And so I started at the time, I'm self-employed, and so I have my own health insurance. I don't, I'm not carried by someone else. So I have my own health insurance. And so, and it's a major provider. And between that time, after I'd seen that doctor and like a couple months later, I had changed health insurance plans. And so I went to go to a neurologist a month or so later because I wasn't convinced that this guy knew what he was talking about. And I tried to go to see a neurologist, and every neurologist, I swear to God, this is not an exaggeration. This has been 6 months now, right? I've been trying this for 6 months. I'm calling neurologist after neurologist after neurologist. And the first 2 or 3 that I called were like, we don't do that kind of neurology. We just do neurological surgery. We're a neurological surgeon or whatever. And I was like, okay. And so my plan does not have a list of providers. You can go to see any doctor, okay? So they don't provide you with a list of doctors. Like my previous plan did. My previous plan, which was United Healthcare, actually provided you with a list of participating doctors, and you could go to those doctors and you'd be quote unquote in network or whatever, right? And another doctor would be out of network. And so I've been trying to find one that takes my insurance, and literally every person I've called probably 20 neurologists in the past 6 months, and not one of them take my insurance. And so it's not like my insurance